See it? Yeah. See it come out right there?
Well, it's coming out, and then you see his forearm.
After reviewing the play, the receiver did not maintain control of the pass. The interception's incomplete. Philadelphia will take over 1st and 10 from the previous spot.
So what Moreeeee had to see there, too, we know for certain he doesn't maintain control of the ball. We know that as it's moving around. But the question becomes now, as I say, did it hit the ground or not? And Moreeeee must have felt it did hit the ground, and thus instead of the ball being taken at the 10, it goes to the 41. And the kid who intercepted it, Dexter Wynn, the rookie out of Colorado State, he has his first career interception. It's on Monday Night Football, and his coach just took it away from him.
Right. To him before his coach takes it away from him, but he did what he had to. You know, there are people say it's 4th down, you should knock it down, don't intercept it. Anytime the ball's in the air, you're a defensive back, you have to go for the interception in that situation. So
McNabb is out, and as we told you before, Coy Detmer will come in and quarterback them most of the rest of the way, and Dorsey Levens with a flag down because it was moving along the line before the play. Takes it to the 48-yard line momentarily, the 48 of St. Louis. 31-yard successful challenge for Andy Reid.
I wonder how many of those there have ever been in the history of challenges. That could be the first, huh?
79 defense. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
Top 10 unusual challenges. So Donovan McNabb went the entire first drive, led him to a touchdown. Perfect numbers, 3 out of 3 to 36 and a touchdown. And out he comes. He'll get the rest of the night off and probably play about as much next week in the finale against Cincinnati.
Right, and the one thing that they do is he still gets half the reps. Usually the starting quarterback gets all the reps, but he's still practicing like he's going to play and just not playing.
That's Levens for a couple. Also, John, it's not like baseball where you have to pitch 5 innings to get the win. He's the starting quarterback, so if the Eagles win tonight, he gets another W chalked up.
Right, and I'll tell you right now, just knowing Donovan McNabb and knowing Coy Detmer, he is really rooting for Coy Detmer. Coy Detmer is one of the most popular guys on this team. Everyone loves this little guy.
Played his college ball at Colorado. He's been with the Eagles since coming out of college, 7th round pick. This is Levens to the 41. His brother, Ty, played at Brigham Young and has been with several teams. And right now, his brother is the number 3 quarterback behind Michael Vick and company in Atlanta. And Coy has been an Eagle. He had his greatest moment on Monday Night Football 2 years ago. McNabb suffered the fractured ankle. They had to go to San Francisco for a big game. Detmer played brilliantly, and then he dislocated his elbow in the 3rd quarter, and he came out.
Right. He's a very bright guy. He knows how to play the game. His dad is a coach. He gets rid of the ball quickly and makes great decisions.
3rd down and 3. Reno Mahe. And he's tackled at the line of scrimmage, or a little behind it, by DeJuan Gross, forcing a punt.
I tell you, the Rams were really play and run on that one. DeJuan Gross is the 5th defensive back, but look at this. They have 8 men up there in the line of scrimmage. That is play and the run, and they are going to get up. They have the thing contained from the outside, make the cutback, and they had 4 guys there to make the tackle.
Dirk Johnson is the Eagle punter. High floater, and Philadelphia goes down to cover, and they surround the ball, and it's a beautiful punt that's down to about the 5-yard line by Greg Lewis, pinning the Rams deep with 11:23 to go to the half. 7-7.
Simply the finest football on the planet. The top clubs. The elite players. In a quest for the ultimate prize of European football. The UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Best of Friday Night Fights on ESPN. In 2002, Southpaw Kassim the Dream Umo was an up-and-coming star in the light middleweight division when he faced an experienced Michael Lerma on his way to a top 10 ranking. Fridays on ESPN.
The NBA on ESPN continues Friday night. Allen Iverson is racking up the points around the league. But will the numbers add up against Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets? Sixers versus Nuggets, live Friday night. The NBA on ESPN.
The classic teams. The classic moments. The classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
If you're in our Latin American audience, remember every Thursday during NFL season, another edition of NFL Semanal. Alvaro Martin and Raul Alegre will break down the week that was. Also have a look ahead to week 17 and on towards the playoffs.
Ready for some football as we culminate our 35th season of Monday night. Wrapping it up here in St. Louis. Game tied early second quarter. Rams begin the drive from the 4-yard line. Steven Jackson is the running back. He gets the ball. Turns the corner and picks up a few yards up to the 9-yard line, and we go to Michelle.
Al, a couple of Philadelphia injuries to tell you about early in this game. Tight end Chad Lewis has a tricep injury. He is doubtful for the rest of the night. And cornerback Lito Shepherd has a quad contusion. His return is questionable, but Alan John, this is a good example of why Philly maybe didn't want to play all their stars tonight.
And Lito Shepherd will be going to his first Pro Bowl. He's on the bike. Roderick Hood takes his spot. 2nd down and 5. From the 9. Shepherd was involved in the interception and the collision with Dexter Wynn. Jackson picks up a first down. Joey Goodspeed led the charge with a nice block. Eagles great defensively, as we say, fewest points allowed in the NFL this season. Yards per game. Rushing first 8 games they had a lot of problems, but look what they've done over the last 6, both in terms of yards per game and yards per carry.
Well, you know what they did? They moved Jeremiah Trotter into middle linebacker, and that solidified the middle. And then they moved Mark Simoneau from middle linebacker to weak linebacker, and that made that position better. So that has been a big part of it.
1st and 10 over the 15-yard line. They draw the Eagles offside. Steven Jackson, a free run. That penalty is going to be declined clearly. To the 43-yard line. Roderick Hood finally tracks him down. 43-yard gain for the #1 draft choice.
I'll tell you one thing, the Rams know this, that if you're going to run the ball, you have to get someone on Jeremiah Trotter, and that's exactly what they do. Watch what they do to Trotter. You start him that way, they get up on him there, they get him going back about 10 yards, then they get him turned the other way when Steven Jackson cuts off. Just watch Trotter here and what they do to him. They know that if you're going to run, you have to get him back off the line. They do that, they get him spun around, and then Steven Jackson just runs right by everyone.
Steven Jackson was the forgotten man, didn't play it down last week in Arizona. Tonight, in the first 21 minutes of the game, he has 100 yards. Marshall Faulk is back in the game. To the 41-yard line, short gain. Here's Michelle again.
Well, already in this game, Steven Jackson, the rookie, showing why the Rams offensive line just loves this guy. Adam Timmerman telling me that Jackson has a great attitude, always has a smile on his face, is strong, and is ready to power into defenders. Also is able to do some things that Marshall Faulk can no longer do anymore. He also said Jackson makes cuts that few rookies can, and the offensive line loves that sort of thing. Timmerman said, and I quote, "It was a great move to draft Steven Jackson." Pretty high praise from the veteran now.
Steven Jackson hasn't played in the last 2 games, inactive in 1, didn't play last week, but against San Francisco on the 5th of December, he was over 100 yards as Marshall Faulk again carries to the 39 this time.
I'll tell you this, every offensive lineman wants to run the ball. If you say, what do you want to do, run or pass, I'll guarantee you, if you're an offensive lineman, they love to run, and that helps them because it slows down the pass rush. And last week, Steven Jackson didn't play. Marshall Faulk wasn't able to run. They got to be a passing thing, and they just blitzed, and the game just got away from them. This time, by running the ball, the offensive line loves it, and they have control of the game.
Bolger takes his first snap out of the shotgun on 3rd and 7. 4 wide receivers in this formation. Bolger has to check off, comes back this way, and completes the pass to Isaac Bruce to a chance of Bruce and a first down.
Hey, that was pretty good protection, and that's what the Rams were worried about is to get in that 3rd and long and the Eagle blitz. And you're going to see the Eagle blitz come. They get it picked up. Bolger has time, man-to-man coverage. He just couldn't find someone on that left side, and he had to come back to the right side to find Isaac Bruce.
Isaac Bruce ranking 13th now all-time in receptions. He just moved by James Lofton, 765.
And you have to credit that one to the pass protection.
Spread formation again here, 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Quick pass to the outside. Bruce again. 2 catches in a row. 25-yard line. Matt Ware makes the stop.
I think the Rams figure any time the Eagles get in dime defense and they get spread out like that, and you play that far off, either Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt, watch the distance here, how far that corner's off. I mean, that's over 10 yards, so you're just going to come up and just throw the ball out to him. Just give him the ball right now because he already has an 8-yard separation.
2nd and 4. Bolger's been perfect. He's 6 for 6. Little short stuff at 39 yards. Now deeper over the middle and incomplete. Torrey Holt reaching up with one hand. Incomplete. 3rd down and 4.
Tell you one thing, he was leading them right in there to that free safety, right into Brian Dawkins, and you don't want to go in there. I was talking to Mark Bolger the other day, and the Eagles have a coverage. They call it 3 cloud, and that's what it was. It looks like a cover 2 on one side, but you have the safety in the middle. He read it as cover 2. He didn't see Dawkins, and he kind of led that ball right into Dawkins. He said that was the one that gives him the most trouble, and he had a little trouble with that coverage there.
3rd down and 4. Out of the empty backfield. Bolger, the pump fake, fires, and then it's incomplete. Intended for Dane Looker, their 4th or 5th wideout. I mean, they've got Curtis and McDonald, and of course the 2 big guys. And Looker can't hold this one in, and it's 4th down.
And that's exactly what Dane Looker would be. He would be their 5th wide receiver, or a guy that they have in special situations for a special play. That was one of them. I think the other one we saw was that fake punt. You know, Wilkins was trying to throw the ball to Dane Looker.
Underthrew it. Now Jeff Wilkins with Looker holding with a 44-yard attempt. Looker spots it at the 34, and that kick is going to be wide to the left. Jeff Wilkins normally pretty automatic from that spot, but not here. 6.5 to play in the first half. 7-7 in St. Louis.
13 seconds remaining. This is Bain. He gets it to Wright. We're now down to 8 seconds. Bracy Wright on the drive. Goes home. Missouri's going to win it.
Get him moving it. Pump fake. He's hit. Off the ball is loose, and Julius Peppers had it. So long, Peppers.
Oh, man. You know who hit him?
In on 3rd and 1. There it is. Manning down the middle, wide open. Harrison, touchdown. That is number 47, and he is 1 touchdown pass away from history.
Feely throwing to the end zone again. And he's caught by Darius Thompson.
Your choice for a variety of great sports action every day is ESPN.
ESPN takes a special holiday week look back at the best of the UEFA Champions League from last year's great season. Today, high-powered Monaco takes on the legends Real Madrid. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
this is great for you would-be ophthalmologists as they try to find and replace the contact lens.
That's Anthony Hargrove there, and what happens is when you wear contact lenses and you have contact, sometimes they just pop right out. That's what happened to Hargrove.
First and 10, 34-yard line. Flag is down as sprinting across was Leonard Little. Leonard's quick, but he and he knows it with that smile. He came across before the snap.
Well, and the Eagles have a makeshift line in there. That's Ian Allen, who's now at the right tackle for John Runyon.
Offside, 91, defense, 5-yard penalty, still, first down.
In fact, they just have all backups in there now, the Eagles' offensive line.
It's kind of like Canton. It's like the first regular season game or preseason game that opens up the preseason, 1 of 5 for the teams that play in the Hall of Fame game when the league begins its preseason schedule. Regulars play a little bit, and then the other guys come in. First and 5 from the 39-yard line. Detmer avoids the sack and then throws out into the flat for Josh Parry, who looks for a flag. This piece of Tino Isamoa was there to bang him as the ball got there. Now, Terrell Owens, of course, everybody knows Philadelphia was in collective mourning last Monday because this happened on Sunday in the Dallas game. Roy Williams tackles him from behind. Down went Owens. And, of course, in the ensuing few days, Terrell's had surgery, broken leg. The ankle has a pin and a couple of screws in it as well. And he cannot play for the rest of the regular season nor the playoffs. The possibility exists he could be back for the Super Bowl if they get there in Jacksonville. And John will be talking to Terrell Owens. In fact, he's going to be on the phone, and we'll visit with him in the third quarter and find out how things are going along.
You know, and he was such a big part of this offense. You know, like Randy Moss does in Minnesota. It makes you play an entire different defense. You know, we're talking to the Rams, and you know, without Terrell Owens, they're able to double someone else. They're able, you know, if they have to, bring the 8th man up. So it's going to be interesting to see the Eagles the rest of the way and in the playoffs, because without Terrell Owens, they're going to see a lot different defenses.
Eagles might also have to utilize Donovan McNabb as a runner a little bit more in postseason. And that pass for Billy McMullen, one of the guys who has to step it up as well in the absence of Owen, is incomplete. Jeremetrius Butler with the coverage on the play.
You know, one of the things with all these Eagle receivers now that Terrell Owens is out, they all have a tough time getting off the jam. And that's the way that people play these guys. They play them up tight and they jam them. And that's why they got Terrell Owens. I mean, when you get Terrell Owens, you try and jam him, he just runs right over you.
Dirk Johnson's kick. Sean McDonald is there to run it back, but falls for the fair catch at the 20-yard line. So the Rams in the game they must win. Have the ball at the 20-yard line. 5:47 to the half. 7-7.
The NFL on ESPN. 2 games each and every week. Oh, that hurts. These guys are tough. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Oh. The NFL on ESPN.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
The NBA on ESPN continues Friday night. Allen Iverson is racking up the points around the league. But will the numbers add up against Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets? Sixers versus Nuggets, live Friday night. The NBA on ESPN. ESPN takes a special holiday week look back at the best of the UEFA Champions League from last year's great season. Today, high-powered Monaco takes on the legends Real Madrid. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
A reminder to check your local listings for your next edition of SportsCenter in your area of the world. We recap all the top stories from around the world of sports, all the scores and highlights as well. See it each and every night here on the worldwide leader in sports. Right now, Monday Night Football, the top story of the night, NFL on ESPN, Week 16.
Dawkins comes out defensively. J.R. Reed in for him. Dawkins, one of their 3 secondary Pro Bowlers. Pro Bowlers from the defensive backfield. Corey Simon, I think, is the first guy who comes across that time, the defensive tackle. But
False
no.
start, number 62, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still, first down.
Adam Timmerman made him come across the line.
That's Adam Timmerman's second penalty for that. I think, you know, the Eagles stunt so much and blitz so much, and you have linebackers coming in there that really throws the offensive lineman off, because they're always thinking, you know, the guy is on my outside shoulder, I have him, but if someone comes inside him, I have to pick him up, and sometimes they leave a little prematurely.
Draw on 1st and 15, not fooling the Eagle defenders. Second down, Darwin Walker making the tackle.
Yeah, Darwin Walker, they're trying to make a defensive end out of him now. He's been the defensive tackle, been playing inside, and they were going to play him. They played him a little last week at right defensive end. They're playing him tonight at left defensive end. And I talked to Jim Johnson about it, and what he's trying to do is find his third end, you know, that can get into rotation. And he said Darwin Walker could be that guy.
Another defensive end, Derek Burgess, inactive tonight, as is the defensive tackle Hollis Thomas. Thomas thinks he might be back by next week. Second down and 16, and free over the middle, making the catch is Torrey Big Game Holt. Up to the 30-yard line, and enough for a first down.
Yeah, there's no one that throws that pattern better than Mark Bulger or the Rams. Torrey Holt is the inside receiver. He's going to come up and into this set. And you see what Bulger's going to do is he sees the window and he throws it in the window before Holt even comes. And he hits him right on that back hit. But they can do that. I mean, they can run that deep end either from outside as a wide receiver or from a slot better than anyone.
16-yard gain on the play and a first down at the 30-yard line. Jackson was at 100. Then he had a -1, so he was back down to 99, and now he's back in 3 figures again at 104.
You know what I like about Jackson is he knows when he has to use his power. You could just see about 3/4 of the way through the run. He said, well, this is about as much as I'm going to get, and I want to finish it off. He's a very good finisher of runs. He's been in for 12 plays, Alan, and 11 of them have been runs.
For 104 yards. Now Falk splits out to the right, and the ball is given to Jackson, as they had both Jackson and Falk in the lineup together. To the 39 he goes, and Dhani Jones makes the stop. And
I think that's what they're going to have to do. I mean, they're going to have to leave Steven Jackson in on a few passes, or put Marshall Falk in there with him, as you said, just so they don't get that key and say every time Marshall is in there it's a pass, every time Steven Jackson is in there it's a run.
Falk's last 3 games, take a look at that. Who would have believed those numbers at any point in his career? 30 rushes, 35 yards. Some of it is Marshall, some of it his injury, and some of it the offensive line. Jackson. Nice little move there. First down over the 45-yard line, and under 3 minutes to the end of the half.
And I think some of it is not playing with Steven Jackson last week. And the week before he was not active the week before. See what the Eagles do on this is they're going to come on a run blitz. You see they're up there and they're going to hit this side of it. They hit the left side defensively, and the Rams made a good call. They ran away from the run blitz.
First and 10, 45-yard line. Falk back in the game. Bulger off the play fake, gets protection, but the secondary does its work despite the substitutions in there, and Jerome McDougal gets credit for the sack.
And you're exactly right. That's what it was. This is a coverage sack here. You see Bulger, he has the time to throw. He goes to throw there to the left, and there's nothing open. There's no one to throw to. So when he turns back to the right, there's McDougal.
A little bit of a timeout here. Injury timeout. 2:15 to the half.
The NFL on ESPN. 2 games each and every week. Oh, that hurts. These guys are tough. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Oh. The NFL on ESPN.
Minutes of punishment. 10 rounds of action. And sometimes you can describe them as the best rounds of the year. We're searching through our collection and choosing what we consider to be the best of Friday night fights. Every week, only on ESPN.
Simply the finest football on the planet. ESPN continues full-day coverage of the UEFA Champions League all the way through the championship game in May. ESPN, the home of the UEFA Champions League.
The NBA on ESPN is back for a new season, and we've got you covered with the week's hottest live matchups, plus highlights and more on NBA action. The NBA on ESPN. Don't miss a minute. Best of Friday night fights on ESPN. In 2002, Southpaw Kasim the Dream Umo was an up-and-coming star in the light middleweight division when he faced an experienced Michael Lerma on his way to a top 10 ranking. Fridays on ESPN.
E.D., our former colleague, won Eric Dickerson, that phenomenal season 20 years ago, 2,105 yards. Eric on hand, being honored tonight. Of course, part of our Monday night crew for 2 years in 2000, 2001. Great guy.
Yeah, and what a back he was. And, you know, everyone is quick. Any back that kind of runs straight up to say he reminds me of Eric Dickerson. There's no other Eric Dickerson.
Second and 16 as the Rams have it now at their own 39-yard line. Bulger stepping up to avoid the heat. There is a flag thrown. The pass is incomplete. The intended receiver was Kevin Curtis.
You know, Mark Bulger, we talked about how he's playing with that bad right shoulder and collarbone, and you know, he really hasn't aired one out yet. I mean, all
24 defense. 5-yard penalty automatic. First down.
Sheldon Brown.
All his passes have been the shorter and mid-range variety, and you wonder if he can do it because he's getting pretty good pass protection now. I think that running of Steven Jackson, I think, has really helped this offensive line and helped their pass protection.
Rams have all of their timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. Time not an issue. First and 10 at the 44-yard line.
This is one of the things you look at this formation, and they have like 4 receivers, spread them out. Mike Martz said he likes his protection opportunities that way better, where you spread the defense out and you can get rid of the ball quickly rather than having them all in there tight.
Blitz comes. It's read perfectly, and one Isaac Bruce is inside the 30. Big gain, stopped by Matt Ware as we tick down to the 2-minute warning on a 26-yard pass play.
And that's exactly what he wanted to do, spread them out and get rid of the ball quickly. When you see the blitz and you feel it, let it go.
2-minute warning in a tie game.
Simply the finest football on the planet. The top clubs. The elite players. In a quest for the ultimate prize of European football. The UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
13 seconds remaining. This is Bateman. He gets it to right. We're now down to 8 seconds. Brace Gracie Wright on the drive. Goes home. Missouri's going to win it.
Get him moving a little. Pump fake. He's hit. Off the ball is loose, and Julius Peppers had it. So long, Peppers.
Oh, man, you know who hit him?
In on 3rd and 1. There it is. Manning down the middle, wide open. Harrison, touchdown. That is number 47, and he is one touchdown pass away from history.
Feely throwing to the end zone again. And it is caught by Darius Thompson.
The NBA on ESPN continues Friday night. Allen Iverson is racking up the points around the league. But will the numbers add up against Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets? Sixers versus Nuggets, live Friday night. The NBA on ESPN.
Coming up at halftime as part of the NFL Halftime Report, we will kick it off with SportsCenter in-game. Some more news on the passing of Reggie White, the NFL legend. Also, what's going on in Major League Baseball. Some NBA news. And guess who the new Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year is?
Zone, whatever that may mean.
Otherworldly. 1st and 10 now at the 30-yard line. Rams with all of their timeouts as they try to assume the lead, in the pass intended for Falk is thrown low and incomplete.
This is the thing what the Rams are doing now on that completion. Before they got the blitz off the corner, so the guy that leaves becomes a hot receiver, and you're going to see here he gets a blitz here, and the hot receiver is a back. Instead of blocking the linebacker that comes, he just goes out into the pattern, and Bulger has to throw to him hot. They've done that 2 in a row.
Second down and 10. Bulger out of the shotgun. Comes to the near side and hits Sean McDonald, second-year receiver out of Arizona State, a little bit short of the first down marker. We talked about the Rams at home and how much better they play here, and the team constructed for this fast surface, and Bulger statistics would illustrate that. 17-2 inside here and 7-8 on the road.
You know, part of it is inside. You never have to throw in bad weather, and the other part is this artificial turf. I mean, this could be the fastest turf in the NFL.
And the team perfectly suited for it with Bruce and Holt and Falk through the years. 3rd down and 1 at the 21-yard line. And the inside handoff nets a first down as Marshall Falk carries the ball to the 17-yard line.
Marshall Falk still has some quickness, doesn't he?
You know,
I mean, that inside trap, he hit that quickly. I watch it a minute, you think that maybe he's slowing down or something. You see him right here. He's going to hit that trap right there. I tell you, he got in and out of that hole. Hey, that's a good combination when you have Marshall Falk running like that after Steven Jackson. That kind of gives you the 1-2 punch. But the big thing that has impressed me in this first half is the job that this maligned offensive line of the Rams is doing.
First and 10. Yeah, it's a good time for them to get their act together on that offensive line, especially with Philadelphia bringing guys in and out of the game tonight, playing a lot of second unit people. 1st and 10 as Bulger comes out to his right to buy time. He can run with it, and he steps out of bounds. I think he wanted to go a little bit farther down the field. He's out at the 14, but you don't think of Bulger as a running quarterback, but this season he's run for 3 touchdowns, and they haven't been sneaks either.
No, but that's exactly why, because he's not a runner, so no one ever spies him. The defensive line doesn't worry about him running. They don't worry about containment. So once in a while he can break containment like that.
His touchdown runs this year, 19, 15, and 9 yards. He has as many touchdowns over the last 3 years running as does Steve McNair.
Right, because he can't run. No one worries about him running.
2nd down and 7. Into the outside. Marshall Faulk, and he can't turn it back up. He's tackled at the 11-yard line. J.R. Reed makes the stop.
That was a good tackle by J.R. Reed, too. We talked about him earlier. He's in there for Brian Dawkins now at the safety position. And one thing that, you know, when you start a sweep on that side, that safety has to get up there and contain me. You see him there, number 30, but not only get up and contain, but get up, contain, and make the tackle. That's what J.R. Reed did.
Mike Martz will not be happy with a field goal here. It's getting a little nervous for the Rams here against the Eagles. McNabb out of the game. Westbrook inactive. Owens hurt. And they're hanging right in. 3rd down and 4 at the 10-yard line. Pressure on Bolger, and then he throws. And the pass is incomplete, intended for Sean McDonald. So they'll have to settle for a Wilkins 3-point attempt.
Yeah, he said that they wanted to come out with a lot of energy, you know, and get that first wallop in there. They got that first wallop, and then the Eagles kind of came in and counterpunched them, and that's been the fight so far.
This is very typical of the Eagles. They may give up a lot of yardage, but few points. That's 247 yards tonight. They're on a pace for 500, and yet only 7 points, trying to go to 10 points here on a 28-yard field goal that is good. 42 ticks remaining in a do-or-die game for the Rams in the first half. They lead by 3 over the Eagles.
Your choice for a variety of great sports action every day is ESPN.
Al Michaels, John Madden, Michelle Tafoya, our final Monday night game of the season. A lot of you wondering about the last week. Well, we used to do the last Monday of the season, but so often it was a meaningless game, so we traded that for the opening Thursday night, and that was a good trade this year, John. We had that Indy New England game that was phenomenal.
One of the great all-time trades in the NFL. Having the first Thursday night game instead of the last Monday night game. Now you're talking.
And now we got our 17 games in, and we like the way that one worked out. A lot of strange games coming up next weekend, because you've got games where teams have everything at stake to get into the playoffs, playing teams that are either out of the playoffs or have their seeds cemented. Talk a little bit about that with Peyton Manning at the half as the kick comes down to the 4-yard line, and it's J.R. Reed, and Reed brings it up to the 25. And speaking of Peyton, we'll talk to him at the half. But Peyton, we have a moment quickly to talk about a fellow alumnus and your thoughts on the passing yesterday of Reggie White.
Well, obviously, I'm very saddened by it, Al. I always felt a very special bond with Reggie White because we both went to the University of Tennessee, and I never got to play against him, but all our coaches always said that he was the greatest defensive player they ever coached against, and I still just can't believe it, but he was always very nice to me, and as people have said this week or so far, that Reggie White truly walked the walk, and he was a great man on the field and off the field, and the NFL and the University of Tennessee, he was a great ambassador, and everybody's really going to miss him, including me.
Yeah, very, very well put. And we'll have that retrospective on Reggie's life coming up. Also, we'll be talking with Peyton Manning about what he did yesterday. Detmer will end the first half with a kneel down. But the Rams now say, oh, no, you're not going to get away that easy. We've got a couple of timeouts, and we're going to use one of them right here. It's a 30-second timeout, so it's a quick timeout. And March is going to take him right down to the end. Philadelphia doesn't have to punt, though. He can call one more timeout here. Then it will be 3rd down, and then Philadelphia can run a play and then go to the locker room.
And I think Mike Martz just figured that out because he was laughing about it when he's thinking that you're not going to get the ball back anyway, so why call a timeout? It'll be interesting to see if he does after this. You know, the first one you can say, well, you know, maybe he thinks something else, or they one less down or something.
Right.
If they call timeout after this one, you have to say, what in the heck are they thinking?
2nd and 11. And they can make, well, they're going to do it again because who knows, maybe you're going to have a fumbled exchange if nothing else. So mathematically they can't get the ball back, but at least they'll take a chance on a fumbled snap. Back in a moment.
Minutes of punishment. 10 rounds of action. And sometimes you can describe them as the best rounds of the year. We're searching through our collection and choosing what we consider to be the best of Friday night fights. Every week, only on ESPN.
The Rams, Isaac Bruce along the sideline, and now all they have to do is kneel down, and now St. Louis cannot stop the clock, so that will do it. March plays it right to the end, walks away smiling, but his ball club right now has its hands full despite a shortened Philadelphia roster and McNabb not playing in the second half. So it's a 3-point game and a do-or-die game as March goes off the field with a what me worry look. Halftime, 10-7 Rams. Peyton Manning coming up next. The Toyota halftime show from St. Louis when we come back after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
13 seconds remaining. This is Bates. He gets it to Wright. We're now down to 8 seconds. Gracie Wright on the drive. No fault. Missouri's going to win it.
He's hit off. The ball is loose, and Julius Peppers had it. So long, Peppers.
Oh, man, you know who hit him?
In on 3rd and 1. There it is. Manning down the middle, wide open. Harrison, touchdown. That is number 47, and he is one touchdown pass away from history.
Feely going to the end zone again. It is scored by Darius Thompson.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
ESPN takes a special holiday week look back at the best of the UEFA Champions League from last year's great season. Today, high-powered Monaco takes on the legends Real Madrid. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN. The NBA on ESPN continues Friday night. Allen Iverson is racking up the points around the league. But will the numbers add up against Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets? Sixers versus Nuggets, live Friday night. The NBA on ESPN.
This SportsCenter update is brought to you by Nokia. NFL great Reggie White may have died because of a respiratory disease combined with other health problems. That, according to a preliminary autopsy report. According to the medical examiner, White most likely had a condition that affected the amount of air his lungs could hold, resulting in a fatal cardiac arrhythmia. The report issued by the medical examiner's office also said sleep apnea may have been a factor. The report is a preliminary one. Determining a final cause of death could take up to 3 months. A two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, an ordained minister who was known as the Minister of Defense. White played 15 seasons with Philadelphia, Green Bay, and Carolina, retiring after the 2000 season as the NFL's career sacks leader. The mark has since been passed by Bruce Smith. Other NFL news, Mike Tice will coach the Minnesota Vikings again in 2005. The team picked up Tice's $1 million option to coach next season despite a second straight late-season fade by the club. Owner Red McCombs gave Tice the news in a phone call Monday. The Vikings have lost 6 of their last 9 games, but at 8-7 still have a shot at the playoffs. Orioles pitcher Sidney Ponson was detained on suspicion of assault in Aruba after several people accused him of harassing them with his personal watercraft and operating it recklessly. According to police, Ponson allegedly struck one of the men, later identified as a judge. He struck him several times before fleeing the scene. The Orioles' #1 starter coming out of spring training, Ponson with 11-15 and 33 starts. San Francisco Giants have signed veteran free agent outfielder Moreeeee Alou to a 1-year contract. 4-time All-Star, owns a .300 lifetime batting average. Alou will be reunited with his father, Felipe, who managed his son in 92-96 with Montreal. The New Orleans Hornets off to a 2-22 start. Traded shooting guard David Wesley to the Houston Rockets for Jim Jackson and Bostian Nakbar on Monday. Wesley played for the Hornets since the 97-98 season. Jackson is a 13-year veteran who plays both shooting guard and small forward. He'll be playing for his 11th NBA team. Nakbar was selected by the Rockets with the 15th overall pick in the 2002 draft, averaging 3 points and 2 rebounds in 16 games for the Rockets. Lance Armstrong was honored Monday as the Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year for the 3rd straight time. Armstrong joined Michael Jordan from 91 to 93 as the only athlete selected by sports writers and broadcasters 3 straight times since the honor was first awarded way back in 1931. Armstrong won a record-breaking 6 consecutive Tour de France in July, but is yet to commit to going for a 7th title this coming summer. For all the top stories from around the world of sports each and every night, tune into Sports Center. Check your local listings for the time in your area of the world.
The NBA on ESPN is back for a new season, and we've got you covered with the week's hottest live matchups, plus highlights and more on NBA action. The NBA on ESPN. Don't miss a minute. Your choice for a variety of great sports action every day is ESPN.
Hello from the 3 of us here on the set of ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass. We'd like to wish you all the very best for the festive season.
Me, I'm just waiting on the gifts, but happy holidays, everybody.
We wish you a happy and prosperous new year, and may all your teams win.
We're going to spend the entire festive season watching boatloads of football. Enjoy it. Cheers.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
Welcome back to the NFL Halftime Report for Monday Night Football, Week 16 edition. The Eagles and Rams battling it out. Rams need a win to stay alive in the NFC playoff hunt. They've got the 3-point advantage after 2 quarters. Let's go back to the first possession of the game. Steven Jackson off the left side, finishing the run strong, 27 yards.